That's right, live, Third Phase of Moon Radio 2015. What's going to happen next? Happy New Year, everybody, right here from the Third Phase of Moon team, based right here in Hawaii. We have the world watching, over 203,000 subscribers, 121 million views worldwide. 2015 will be something to go down in history, and we just got started. I know we got some videos coming in. We're going to be going over 2014, the end of 2014, in the dawn of a new age. Videos were captured around the world. We're going to be going over some of those videos as well in this episode radio show. Call in. The number is 347-934-0378. I know we had a submission from Frankie DeMartini. He captured something New Year's Eve 2015 along with eyewitnesses. He was just on the chatting a little earlier with me. We hope he joins the show a little bit later today because he's got some interesting video with eyewitnesses. We're going to be playing that right now.
2 years, I've got orange orbs in the sky. I got people witnesses right here. And look, one orb, one had ascended. Look, look, two of them in the sky. Orange. I finally got it. See, I got witnesses right here. There was 4 of them. Now there's 2. Flying in formation. There was 4 before.
Wow. They gone, man. You see it there on the other?
What the hell is this shit? Orange. The colors are orange. There was another one, but they disappeared. There was 2 more. Come here!
No, tú estás loco.
Yeah, come!
I'm 14. I want to live my life.
Wow, this is meant to be.
What is it, Papa?
I don't know what it is, but it's orange lights, and they're right over us.
They're going up, you see?
They're going up. They're escalating up. Anybody got a laser pointer?
No, no,
A flashlight?
No. I got flashlight, but why are you calling, man?
Why? Because why not? What are you scared of? You got me here. I'll defend you. Shooting stars don't float. All right, so we still got 2 steady orange dots. It's currently 1 minute and 45 seconds. I'm turning to the left. You got the moon view, and I'm turning back. They're ascending up into the sky. They're going up. They're going up. That's why we're losing them. Look, they're gone. They're going back up. Look, they're going up. You're probably losing it on the camera, but they're just going up. Now one's a big white orb. You can't see it because I got a shitty camera, iPhone 4. But it's over. It's a disc. Look, white. Holy shit. Oh my God, this is what I needed to see. Look, there's 2 of them, and you can see that they're disc-shaped objects.
White color, you see?
Look, right over us. Oh my God, this is what I needed. Now everybody can know that I'm not crazy. I've got multiple people with me. Look, disc-shaped object. Look, another one right there.
Now we're back live, Third Phase of Moon Radio. Everybody, the lines are building up. This is going to be an exciting show. Let's stick to the topics of UFOs, encounters that you've had personally yourself. People are standing by for a while, so let's get to the first one, standing by for over 20 minutes now, Third Phase of Moon, area code 786. Happy New Year. Tell us your name. Where are you calling from?
Miami, Florida. Raymond.
Hey, Raymond. Welcome to the show, man. We posted up a video within a few hours right here at Third Phase of Moon from Florida on New Year's celebration, UFOs in the skies. Welcome.
Thank you. The reason for me calling is on the 28th, December 28th, about 9:30 at night here in Miami, Florida. I saw the red glowing lights that I've seen posted on some of your videos.
Absolutely.
I've seen the Chinese candle lights fly by like about a year ago, and I got really intrigued by that, and it turned out to be the candles. But these were they weren't candles, because they were floating just like the ones on your videos, and then they would fade away, and then they took off like at tremendous speeds.
Yeah, you know, a lot of people will dismiss it right away, Chinese lanterns, but the people themselves on the ground, like yourself, people know what Chinese lanterns look like. So you're telling me the characteristics in these video, the video we just submitted from Florida just a few hours ago, is pretty much the exact same thing that you witnessed yourself?
I haven't seen the one you just posted up. In fact, I just found you guys after I saw this. I did some YouTube searches and I found you. I've never seen your show, and really intrigued. I saw a bunch of your videos and trying to see if I could see something, because I wasn't able to videotape it, but I took a lot of still photos. But I did see one that you have posted up by NASA. Some guys filming these red balls, and another young man that was here in Florida that was filming it like in the side of his house, and he just dropped everything and started filming. They were a lot like those red balls.
Well, you know, it's the video we just put up, and I'm going to put it in the chat line right now. There might be some issue with it. I'm not exactly sure, but hopefully you could take a look. It was shot by Juanito from Hialeah, Florida, and here I'm going to be putting that in the link right now. But what's interesting is that there was a family on the ground that was witnessing these themselves. So you saw something on the 28th, just a couple days before the New Year, and you said these things took off in mannerisms that Chinese lanterns couldn't possibly do.
Absolutely not. They could never do that. I just I was getting home 9:30 at night. I get off my truck and I look to my left and I see these lantern type of things floating by, and I just look at them, and it was kind of funny to look at them floating by, and I'm like, well, they're probably those Latin things again. Let me get my mom and tease her, and I call her outside and I go, check this out, Mom, look, UFOs. And I was like trying to tease them, but then they stopped and went another direction. They started going west into the Everglades, and then they picked up speed and disappeared, all three of them. And then two more started floating by the same area, and I'm like, Mom, these aren't candles. I was really stunned. I was like almost frozen, didn't know what to do next. So the only thing I could find was my big camera, so I started taking pictures and snapping pictures. And then those two ended up in the same place the other three were. And then those two stopped, turned west, and took off pretty quickly. And my mom was able to see the same thing.
So what was your mom's take on that experience? Did she have any explanation for it?
She was totally stunned. I talk about this all the time. I'm a big believer we're not alone. I also have some photos from the past, like 2 years ago, maybe 7 years ago. I believe I have a wormhole photo with a UFO coming out the other side. Really neat stuff. And at Miami Beach, I also have some photos where you could see silhouettes, something flying around almost invisible, but you could see the silhouette of it. So she's seen some of my pictures, so she was really surprised to see these things just stop and turn and go another direction.
Well, what you should do is, I'd like to see those photos. YouTube has a great photo slideshow program. You just upload the photos and it creates a cool slideshow. If you could, of your UFO photos, do that, and then make a YouTube video and submit it to us. We should like to share it.
I'd love to. I will do that in the next couple of days. Another thing, what happened next is they took off, right? So we sat outside for a few minutes to see if something else would show up, because, they just kept showing up and nothing would show up. So I took off in my truck to see if I could go into the glades and maybe see something, and nothing happened. Here's when it turned really cool. I get back, and my dad showed up, and he loves the UFO programs and all that. He's always calling me. And I go, Dad, we just saw some UFOs. I got some footage. I'm going outside. If they come back, I'll call you. Man, my jaw dropped. I went outside, and at 2 minutes, after that, a blue ball fell out of the sky, a blue one instead of red, and it started just going dancing around like, I mean, I'm speechless. I really don't know how to explain it, but it was just moving around, this blue ball, and I'm frozen. I don't have my video camera. I only have my still camera, so I'm taking pictures of this blue ball dancing around, and I'm knocking on my dad's window trying to get him outside. They don't come outside, so I run in. I tell them, people, you got to come outside. Check this out. We make it outside. They saw what I saw. This ball was dancing around, and then the ball split into 5 balls in front of us. It was 3 red, 2 blues, and then this thing would just dance around like there's no tomorrow. All of the balls dancing around together from end to end. It would fly like, I don't know how far from where it was, and it would show up somewhere else, and it would show up behind a cloud, and it was doing crazy stuff. And then between my still pictures, I got a picture of it turning almost, it had the blue ball, and then you could almost see when it was about to split into the other balls, and then I got the picture of it with all the blue balls. It's really, really cool pictures. I'm gonna submit it into a slideshow, and I'm gonna send it to you guys because they're really cool pictures.
Hey man, thanks for sharing your sighting, the December 28th. If anybody was there over there in the Florida region, I know there's already UFO sightings that happened New Year's Eve, but 2 days before. Can you tell us exactly where this was sighted?
Yeah, because I'd like to know if anybody saw this. It was in the almost Kendall area. I would say we have a place out here called Miccosukee Indians out here in the Glades in Miami, Florida. I'd like to know if anybody saw what I saw because it was really stunning.
Wow. Again, thanks for joining us here at Third Phase of Moon. You heard it right there. If anybody was in that region of Miami, contact Third Phase Moon. We look forward to your slideshow. Thanks for calling in, man.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Talk to you guys soon. Thanks. You guys are doing a great job out.
We appreciate it. The word is getting out. We're going to go to another eyewitness. The phone calls and the phone lines are building up. The number to call in is 347-934-0378. Now we're going to go to Frankie DiMartini. He called in earlier this afternoon, and I was just looking over his video, and he also had, we just saw the video earlier, and we're going to go over it right now with the man that shot it himself. Frankie, hey, thanks for joining us right here at Third Phase of Moon.
Blake, good evening. How are you?
Hey, doing good. Happy New Year. Thanks for staying up. You're also in Florida, correct?
Correct. Actually, not too far from Raymond.
Wow, incredible. I wish Raymond just stayed online. If Raymond, you're listening right now, call back in. But yeah, tell us what you shot that night.
Actually, I'm actually watching the video you just uploaded from Juan in Florida. That was actually the Hialeah. That was actually like right where I was. Miami Lakes runs into Hialeah. And exactly what I saw in the video that he had, the red fiery color orange, was exactly what I saw. And when I was leaving New Year's, I put my helmet on, got ready to go on my motorcycle, and when I was going around the corner, I saw something coming from the sky in red, like a few of them actually. So I made a U-turn, went back to the house, and everybody was already outside looking. And they're like, wow, what is that? And I was just like amazed. I was like, whoa, this is crazy. And one lady was like, it's Chinese lanterns. And I'm like, okay, so a possibility, but it was just like how they were moving kind of like made me still a little bit iffy. Then as they had headed to the west, I knew that definitely wasn't Chinese lanterns due to the fact that the clouds were heading from west to east, and they were heading from east to west. Chinese lanterns can't go against the wind. So right there, I just like knew it was something else. And plus, two of them had shut their lights off and directly went overhead. And I saw one like literally tumbling, and the other one was basically a disc-shaped object that looked silvery white, but had like a gray strip that had like a triangular strip or line or something like that. It's like the most detail I've ever was able to see. And I was even like amazed that I was able to see that. And I had to share it with you guys because something different. I mean,
you know, it's quite interesting. 3 eyewitnesses from the general area, just within within a day or so of each other, and then calling in on third phase of the moon, and then the videos are coming in. That's pretty humbling for me, just to know that, hey, if there's a UFO sighting, now multiple eyewitnesses from the same area are possibly capturing the same thing. Tell me, Frank, you know what a Chinese lantern looks like in the night sky?
Definitely. Yes.
And what were these, in your opinion?
Definitely unidentified flying objects. I mean, one had a disc shape from when the lights had turned off, and it flew overhead all of us. And I had about 8 to 10 people outside, plus the neighborhood was like, New Year's people were leaving. So, I mean, there was a lot of people outside. I even showed that. I showed basically who was, the family I was with and whatnot. But it was definitely viewable. Cars were stopping in the street.
That's right, Frank. So what did the people on the ground, I saw in the video that you submitted right here that we're sharing, that people were there looking up at it. They're not going to be overwhelmed by simple Chinese lanterns on New Year's Eve festivities. It must have caught their eye. And
yes, everybody was getting kind of like amazed at it.
So word on the street was everybody was in the same state of mind that this was identified and it was a strange event, no doubt about it.
Correct. I mean, my friend, she was like Chinese lanterns, they send them up through this area. I was like, okay, possibility. But when I looked up and I saw them to the right, the two that still had the lights on, they were going against the clouds. And I stood straight and I looked, and I even brought my buddy. I'm like, look, they're going against the clouds. He's like, yeah, you're right. And that's right there. I mean, Chinese lanterns can't fly against the wind. I mean, drones or whatever it was, I doubt it, because it was kind of like a little bit of wind.
I think Miami, there's been a lot of videos recently, just last couple of months from that.
Go ahead. Yeah, I'm sorry to cut you off, but I also wanted to tell you, last month, about 2 a.m., I was basically stepping out of my apartment and right on the balcony to smoke a cigarette, and I was looking in the northwest position from Hollywood to basically Pembroke Pines, Davie area. Now, I saw something that was crazy because, first of all, it's a cigar-shaped black craft with orange, red, orange, green lights, like just very minimal around the black object. And the way it moved from left to right, it hovered and then it came back and then it just flew straight out north. That like blew my brain. I thought I was like literally on something, which I don't do anything. So, I mean, I thought it was a blimp because it had that shape. The day after, I went riding with my friends along the coastline and I saw a blimp. I was like, no way. It was way huge. It was huge, like huge, cigar-shaped craft. Huge. So from then on, I just had my eyes in the sky and look, this happened. So.
Hey, well, you know what? It was kind of breaking news, new insight on the CIA's thoughts on how they're going to still keep, deceiving in their way about this UFO phenomenon. Right now, the CIA publicly claimed that now, in the last 24 hours or so, that they know what happened and the reason for 50% of the sightings during the 1950s and 60s. They know what these UFOs are, and they could prove it. They proved it. They admitted.
Did they say something that was like the Su-27 or something? I read about it today.
They said they know what they are now. They're U-2 bomber. Okay, well,
no way.
You know what a U-2 bomber looks like? It's a U-2 bomber spy. And they say 50% of all UFOs are because of the U-2 bomber spy plane, because it travels at 60,000 feet. Back in those days, it wasn't a very high traffic area at that high altitude. So they claim that, well, people that claim they saw a UFO, they must.
I got to call BS on that.
Yeah, people know what an airplane looks like. Even though it's at 60,000 feet, it's still in an airplane. So, and they want to claim that 50% of all UFO sightings is because of them. So, hey, thanks a lot, CIA. Appreciate that insight.
I believe that's BS, honestly, Blake. You know why? Because, first of all, why World War II happened. All the countries knew that Hitler had Vermonters, Hudenbaums, the dish-shaped crafts that they were building. Bottom
bell.
line. The bell, exactly. I mean, it's...
People know what airplanes look like. People know what Chinese lanterns look like. People want to blame all UFO sightings on Chinese lanterns or airplanes. Well, the CIA's doing it, so everybody might as well get on the bandwagon. I think not.
I agree.
Frankie, so what do you think is going to happen in 2015?
I think, look, to be honest, I've seen a lot in my life, but this, and especially like the instances that have been happening within a month, and especially on New Year's, I think this is what everybody's been talking about, that something big is going to happen. They're going to reveal themselves. And I just want to say again, that black object that I saw was huge, like a mothership type of huge. Take my word for it. Believe me, I've overanalyzed it. I even took pictures of it, but you're not going to see it because it was, I have my phone. Got an iPhone 4. So
were you screaming on top of your lungs, hey, look, everybody, anybody around you, trying to get their attention on what you're looking at?
Exactly. I watch your show consistently, so I know what to do as far as trying to, make sure I'm not crazy,
Absolutely. Sometimes people, there was a statement, and I didn't get my opinion on it, but people think when there's a mass sighting and multiple people are on the ground, they kind of freeze in time, and they kind of ask themselves why they're not grabbing the camera to start shooting this thing.
Yes.
And some people say it's just kind of that euphoric shock and awe, first of witnessing something that they cannot explain, but then also that there is some kind of maybe extraterrestrial involvement where you are stunned and kind of frozen in time while you are witnessing this event. That's just what I've heard. People ask that question, and so I'm putting out the knowledge that I've heard through sightings of close encounters.
I mean, honestly, as much as you know, I probably know as well. Maybe you have a little bit more insight because you're dealing direct with people. But I'm always watching and digging, and I think, well, to me, I'm on the same page with you. Like I said, I would love to hear more from you and learn more. But, everything that you guys stand for, I'm about. And definitely there's something more to this. And everybody's hiding it from us. Everybody. That's what's sad. They're trying to make us not realize. They're not trying to, let us wake up our consciousness, and be balanced. Look at all this. I mean, there's so much negativity out in the world. Who can focus on something like this? It's all a diversion to keep them away, and for us to learn the truth about us, because, ancient aliens and everything, it's all inscribed. It's all there. The information's right there, and they're just saying, no, that's this, that's that. I mean, guys like us and everybody else that believes, we know. And maybe this is it. I mean, look at it. Too many coincidences on New Year's, especially in the same area, basically.
And I just shared your video just now, and then we shared about 3 others just a few hours ago. And I know we're not done with just UFOs sightings throughout the world. Even the BBC captured something over their festivities over there in the UK.
Really?
Frank, yeah. We need to get permission from the people that shot it. That's why we always thank the people like you who submit their videos and put it into a place where they know they're going to get it seen and not just hacked or botted it on YouTube and not giving the permission where the permission is due. So, Frankie, I want you to stick around. I just wanted to get to a next caller who's been hanging on for about a half hour.
Oh, yeah, no problem.
Let's bring him into the
show.
Yeah, man. Stick around, Frankie. Let's go to area code 702. Welcome to Third Phase. Happy New Year. Tell us where you're calling from. What's your name, man? 702, you there?
Hello?
Hello. 702, hello? You're live.
Is this 70? Did you say 702? You talking to me?
Yes, sir.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I apologize. I was actually trying to get some information together to give you in this interview or little talk. First of all, my name is Shawn. How are you doing today? Happy New Year.
What's up, Shawn? Happy New Year. Tell us why you're calling
in.
Yep, go ahead.
Yeah, actually, I was calling to share a couple of experiences that I had. I grew up. I'm born and raised in Las Vegas. I'm born and raised in Las Vegas. It was only up until the last, 4 or 5 years that I started having these experiences and seeing these sightings. Like I grew up in Las Vegas in, I guess, a cliche urban environment, and I'm sorry, I'm a little nervous. Like a cliche urban environment, not really aware of what was outside of this planet, I guess you could say. Just, I guess, a lower energy. Only the last couple of years have I started seeing what you guys are seeking to put out, like the truth about, whether it be interdimensional or three-dimensional crafts that we're actually seeing here or whatnot. I'm sorry, I'm kind of like rambling on. It's really nervous for me. So anyways.
Hey, Shawn.
Okay. Yeah, that was my mother. I apologize. She was telling me to tell you about the most recent experience I had.
Yeah, let's start with what your mom just said. Let's go to these sightings, close encounters. Give it in detail.
Right.
Go ahead.
Okay, I went ahead and fell asleep one night about a month or two ago, and it was like around 9:30 at night, and I found myself outside in front of my place, basically awake and conscious and looking around, wondering how I got outside. And I seen this guy who looked familiar, but I wasn't really sure who he was. And I was kind of like, looking around like, what's going on, kind of really dazed and confused. And I remember looking at my hands and flipping them over back and forth, and was like, oh my God, like, how did I get out here? And I look up, and what I believed at the time was the moon. It looked red, and I looked back over at the guy that I had seen across the street to tell him, like, are you seeing this? By the time I looked up and looked back down, I seen this red spotlight on the ground, almost with like a white lava mist in between it, to give you a description. And when I looked back up, it was separate from the moon. And time I looked back over at what I, thought I recognized this guy to tell him about it. He was gone. Next thing you know, I found myself out in the middle of the street. This craft had landed right in the middle of my street. I'm standing there looking at it, and looking at it at first, it was completely solid to look at it, and the top became transparent, and I seen this being inside of it. And when I seen it, it was facing the opposite direction that I was in. It had its back to me, and it was waving for me to come forward. And I could hear it say, come on, like, almost like saying, come on. And I just remember saying, like, no, I'm not going to come. And it had no facial expression or anything. And it wasn't like your typical looking gray, though it had the big eyes, the low nose and mouth, to kind of give you a visual of what I seen. And as I kept on saying no and no, the top part of it opened up, then the bottom came out, and it looked like it was only enough room for one person in there. Because when he had stepped out, I say it was a he or whatnot because of the description I'm going to give you next. When it stepped out, it stood about, I'd probably say about 9 feet, maybe about 9 feet tall. And I'm 6'4", and it had me looking straight up when it stood out. When it stood out, it literally put one leg out, hit the ground, and stood up, and literally was massive in size. It was very muscular. It was like from the neck down, it was almost like a shimmering suit. I would best describe it. It was very muscled and detailed, and when it stood out, the head really didn't look that big, but it almost had almost like a face of almost like a human, almost like I guess you could say a gray. To give you kind of an image. I know that's horrible. I'm a little nervous the first time I've done this, but so anyways,
they call them
it stood out, and it started walking towards me, and I remember saying no, and I swung. As I swung it put its hand out, and when it put its hand out, I blacked out, and the next thing you know, I'm jumping out of my bed, swinging. But as I'm swinging, waking up in my bed is completely made. At first, I forgot to tell you that I fell asleep on top of the covers. And when I woke up, I was basically tucked into my bed. My comforter was tucked in. My pillows were made straight. And the last hand I remember swinging with was completely swollen. And it had a lump in the index finger. And that was my most recent encounter. I had one in 2008 where I had a dream that like a snake was biting my wrist and a dog was biting my neck. And when I woke up, I was only able to move my eyes around. And then my head fell to the left, almost like a weight. And there, standing in the doorway when I was living in California at the time, this being or whatnot, I don't know if it was a being or some would say an angel, was standing from top to bottom in the room I was sleeping in, and it had almost like a gown on, and I could see through the gown, and I could see like a figure of like a woman, but I could not see the face, and instantly it just snapped, and I was like broke free. I hopped to my feet, and as soon as I hopped to my feet, it was gone. I never.
Let me ask you this, Shawn. I know that sometimes dreams could be so surreal and vivid that you really think that this is reality. And reality, and your brain could sometimes play tricks on you. But what we really like at Third Phase Moon is people that have eyewitness accounts along with their friends or video evidence. I want to ask you this, Shawn. Is your mom over there, and did she ever eyewitness anything out of the normal or ordinary?
Yeah, we actually got several pictures and videos. We're just starting to recollect them again after she had lost her phone, but I have them saved up on the computer that I could upload on video or on camera. And I've actually sent you some too on your Facebook. This was a while ago, but I never heard anything back.
We could take a look. Is your mom there now?
Yeah, she here.
Hey, let me get some questions into your mom. And in the meanwhile, we do have people hanging online over here at Third Phase Moon Live Radio. I see. Yeah. We're going to get into area code 706 here in the next few minutes. But I wanted to ask Shawn's mom in regards to some of his encounters. What do you think your son's involved with? Do you think this is something that he's dreaming about, or is this reality when he's meeting with this tall grand? Let's start from there in the middle.
I really believe it's true. We've seen lots of crafts together since for the last 20-some years here in Las Vegas. I'm sorry?
Yeah, you're not too far away from Area 51, a lot of military bases out there, secret aircraft, or maybe possibly even engineered. Any craft that you've witnessed with your son?
I'm sorry?
Could you describe Can you describe some of the encounters you had, like a certain sighting you had with your son over there in Las Vegas?
I've seen crafts and to where they've gone into trails. Seen them where they've split and gone back together. Seen them where they've shot across the sky.
Have you
seen where they've... go ahead.
Sorry for interrupting. I want you to explain on that, but have you witnessed UFOs at a young age when you were a child yourself?
I had an encounter when I was in my 20s where they came into my room, which was a bit unnerving. There was about 6 of them that came into my room, and I had woke up and they were pulling the covers off of me. That's all I can remember. So that's, I mean, who knows? I mean, they may have been coming since I was a little kid. I remember having the same dream over and over again where I had things coming and picking me up. I kind of blocked it out of my mind. I never really thought about it. I didn't want to think about it. So, but the last thing that I can remember was when I was in my 20s. But we've seen him, since he was a young kid. And he just more recently been, I guess you could say, in tuned with them. And he's been having the feelings and seeing them, and to where orbs come into the house and everything. And I've seen him. I've seen and felt presence in the house at night. So
well, I think
I don't have any doubts about it.
There is a connection going on. I think it started out with you first. Now, your son Shawn. But let me. Here's a bit of advice. It sounds like you've been kind of documenting this for a few years, along with photographs and I'm not sure videos. But you have your stories. What you guys should do is definitely write down and make a diary or some kind of a video blog. Share your story because Vegas is another place where people have a lot of sightings, and then you could get together with other people that have witnessed and experienced the same thing. I also wanted to ask about, Shawn said that his thumb was swollen the next day. Is there any trace? Is there any trace evidence of like an implant?
No, we looked. No.
Haven't had no X-ray or none.
Excuse me. No, we looked. We didn't have an X-ray done or anything. But
feel something. It was swollen the next day. So,
yeah, it was definitely swollen, but we looked and we didn't see any sight of any kind.
That's this, and then I'm going to have to get to area code 706. We are running a little low on time here, but I still want, this is an amazing, fascinating accounts right here that we're listening to live radio here, people. This is, I've never spoken to anybody so far on this radio show except to schedule a time to call in, and it is incredibly humbling, again, for people to share their close encounters and share it right here at Third Phase of Moon. Let me ask you again, Mom of Shawn, are you concerned about what's going on, or do you feel kind of special about what's happening? And I want Shawn to have...
I was really concerned because I thought, the more that in tune that he was, the more that they would come, that he was calling them, and bringing them more to us, because the more that he seemed to be in tune with them, the more apt and the more that we were seeing them. It bothered me for a while, but now things have calmed down and things are more peaceful. and it's okay.
Thank you very much. Shawn, what's your opinion?
I'm sorry, could you say that again?
Yeah, Shawn, I just want to get your insight of whether you think this is what's happening in your experiences is a positive or negative thing.
Well, I'm gonna say this. Only when she brings up stuff that has happened when I was younger do I remember bits and pieces, but only the last couple of years that it's happened. At first, I thought it was negative because I really didn't understand it. And, we always fear what we don't know or understand. So, it really turned into a positive because it really started having me look on the inside instead on the outside. Not so much materialism, but, growing and really investigating and looking into, who we are as a species and so on and so forth, and really try to enlighten myself. So I really see it as bringing a positive, and it brought more awareness around me as well. And, I've grown in so many ways that it's, I guess, turning a negative into a positive, or even if it was a negative, I still believe it's positive in many ways.
Hey, Shawn, man, thanks again for sharing your insight. And you sound like quite intelligent person. I like the way you have that positiveness in going into the future. Again, how old are you?
I just turned 31.
All right, man. Well, you keep up the good attitude.
Yeah.
We look forward to your pictures. Send them to us on Facebook. Make those diaries. Get as much evidence as you can. And, again, Happy New Year. And to your mother.
Happy New Year to you, too. Thank you. Like I said, we sent them in before to Facebook, almost a whole book. So it'd be kind of hard to miss us. So if you ain't got it or whatnot, or we don't hear a reply, then we'll definitely resend them again.
Hey, thanks, man. Appreciate it. We'll be keeping an eye out for that. Okay.
All right, thank you.
Insane, incredibly humbling Third Phase Moon Radio. Every Fridays is, I look forward to it. I look forward to talking to the people around the world in regards to this phenomenon and having to hear sometimes stories for the first time that people just wanted to share right here on the radio to the world. They feel like this is a place where they're not going to be ridiculed. This is a place to share. This is a place to watch and listen. And I know people out there experience these things themselves out there. This is not a joke, people. This is the real deal. 2015 Third Phase of Moon Radio. Right now, let's go to it. 706. Thanks for joining us right here at Third Phase of Moon. Tell us your name. Where are you calling from?
Hi, it's Dorothy, again, from Georgia. I'm going to make it fast. I got really excited when I heard the two first guys you had from Miami. I literally grew up right where they are. But I find it interesting what they're talking about tonight because one of the many strange things I've seen is exactly what they're describing. Last July, I was in St. Petersburg Beach with my cousins. We were walking the beach around midnight, and exactly the same thing started flying over us. And it came from the east, and it went west, way out to sea. And we watched it. There was at least 7 of them, and we watched it for over an hour, going back and forth, and we wondered, what are they doing? We wanted to call them Chinese lanterns at first, but they moved way too fast. They would stop, hover, come up the beach waves, and then go back out.
Wow. And, we got Frankie over here, and he's from Florida as well, who just submitted his video to Third Phase Moon from Florida. We already did a few hours ago. Hey, want to talk to each other?
How are you?
Yeah, I grew up right around 123rd Avenue and Tamiami Trail. I lived near the Miccosukee Indian Village. And I've been watching stuff like this most of my life. And I always thought where we lived was a really high-traffic area for this. And now y'all are talking about it, and I'm like, yeah, it is. It's amazing.
Yeah, I definitely agree. To see what I saw, and definitely can deter the difference between moving against clouds and, you know, the Chinese lantern, and it definitely wasn't blocked by me.
They're very brilliant lights, these lantern-looking things, and, I mean, very brilliant. And they fluctuate from red to orange, and they move like Spitfires. I mean, they just go so fast. They elevate, they lower. There's, you know, the ocean current coming in on the west coast is pretty much west to east. Florida, the airflow over Florida is always like that. It's always coming in from the west and going east, especially over Miami. And they were bloody going against it, exactly. And they looked like they were busy and they were doing something. And we wondered for a long time.
If there's technology out there, and they, you know, it could be military. I'm not saying this is extraterrestrial ET green men from Mars, but they are UFOs, and that's what third phase of moon's all about, is
Absolutely.
UFOs. And obviously, we do believe in alien visitation, but I do also believe that military is taking some of that technology and are using it for themselves, and they're not sharing it with us, the people. And there might be these things out there that are luminescent and look like Chinese lanterns, but they're not.
No, they're not. And I'll tell you a secret about the government. The more they say it's not, you should question it. The more they complain that we're all crazy and we're seeing things, you need to question that too.
And when they say that they know exactly the reason why 50% of UFO sightings happen between the 50s and 60s is because of the U-2 bomber and the stealth aircraft. Everybody knows what an airplane looks like, and these are not airplanes, and they're not Chinese lanterns in most cases. I'm sure some people get it wrong, but you guys are on the scene. You're on location right there.
Exactly. I've seen bombers coming into land, and they move slow, they lumber, and they're, you know what stadium lights look like? The lights on a bomber look like that. Oh, they're a little bit farther apart. And there's no doubt in your mind what it is, because the sound is outrageous. I mean, you could really hear them coming for miles. What we were looking at was silent. No sound. None. I don't know about the two guys earlier, if they heard anything, but I doubt it highly.
Yeah, you know, the video is absolutely, people are there on location speaking. You hear no residual sound whatsoever of any kind. I know time's getting short right here. We've got about 10 minutes left on the show, but again, I want to thank you for joining us right here at Third Phase of Moon. Any last words?
Who, me?
Yep.
Just keep looking up. I think that everybody's right. Something's happening. I think it's coming really soon, and they just need to be really observant.
Thank you very much. More eyewitness location from Florida. Wow. Just the people are calling in. It's a small world right here at Third Phase of Moon, people are listening when an event happens. And now I think we're on to like 6 people right now, just tonight, confirming mass sightings over there in Florida, Miami. Let's go to our next caller. Third Phase of Moon's live right now. We got a few minutes left. 402. Welcome to Third Phase of Moon. Tell us your name. Where are you calling from?
Hi. This is Sharon. I'm calling from Nebraska. I don't know.
Hey, Sharon. How's it going tonight? In a year.
Okay. I wish the show was longer. I don't know if you'll have time to. You were talking about the 50s and 60s. My mom, you know, she was always talking about this bright light that beamed down on her, and I just always blew it off. You know, in fact, I just assumed it was spiritual, you know. But then she described it more, and it was in 1951 in St. Louis, and I always wondered if there were ever any other sightings right at the end of the Korean War.
Excuse me, let me get your name again.
It's Sharon.
Okay, Sharon.
And I'm in.
I just want to ask you
Nebraska.
We're just on the topic of the CIA, and they explained 50% of the sightings at that time, just when in the 50s and 60s. Was this a U-2 bomber
No, this was just a bright light, so bright, and it beamed down right on top of her. I guess she just went outside on her porch, and, you know, the light came down like what you see in a movie, is what she described. You know, it just flooded around her, and no sound or anything. Yeah. And it just was pretty bizarre, and I wondered if anybody else has seen it. Now, I personally have seen a couple strange, you know, like UFOs, I guess. The one I saw here in my backyard, a neighbor was walking me home. We share a backyard area, common area, and we were just walking along and, you know, kind of looking up, talking, and I'm watching this. I'm on the flight plant from SAC Air Force Base, Strategic Air Command, you know, in Omaha. And so I see, you know, Air Force One and Snoopy and them all the time, Looking Glass. And I'm watching it, but
you'll see the best alien technology right there. Go ahead.
Well, anyway, I was looking up. I never see them fly at night, but this was nighttime, and all of a sudden these, what I thought were stars anyway, started flying down, and he and I were both kind of, you know, we're talking but looking, and then I started looking again, and it looked oval. It looked like what a blimp would, that shape, you know, but the lights went all the way around. You know, I kept thinking, is that a plane? You know, I couldn't tell if it was like a triangular or if it was oval. But then as it came down more, and they were all different colored lights. So, you know, I don't know if it wasn't like a saucer. It didn't have that shape. But it did have like an oblong shape, and the lights went all around it. And we're watching it, and I'm thinking, what in the hell? And I said, look at that. And then all of a sudden, you know, it's coming down, and then all of a sudden it went back up, like it put it in reverse, but to like 180 degrees, straight back, and then straight forward, you know, like a zigzag, okay? And then the second time it came down, and then it went up, and it was zoom, gone, and then it just disappeared. And there's no way in hell a plane can fly like that, because it literally did like a zigzag with no curves or anything, just straight back.
It's a 90-degree angle. Let me ask you this, that so your mom told you about her experience in the early 50s.
Yeah, but I didn't think it was real. I mean, I thought it was spiritual. I didn't think it was UFOs. And I grew up never talking about it, thinking about it. You know, anybody who thought about it was crazy, da-da-da-da-da. But I personally seen another time in Kansas City, I'm driving with my uncle. Now, he's a World War II vet. And all of a sudden, I look up and I see these two big balls of light. They just look like light, okay, white, clear, bright light. And there was one after the other, you know, coming straight down. But then all of a sudden they took this 90-degree turn, you know, to the left. Same thing, no curve, nothing, just straight, like you were drawing a straight line to the left, you know, one, and then they disappeared. They didn't zoom off anywhere. They turned, went a little bit, and were gone, like you turned off a light bulb.
Those streaks, you know, what's the most amazing thing about it is if it was piloted by a human or something that from this earth, things or components would have been slammed up against its innards, and it would have just broken apart at these 90-degree angles that people are capturing and describing. I've seen it myself. They leave these streaks of light, and they fade out.
I didn't see any streaks, you know, no sound either time. When I tried to get my uncle to address it, I mean, everybody in the car, my mom's in the car, you know, my great uncle, and I was saying, you know, Uncle Francis, did you see that? Did you see that? Can't you see that? Look at those lights. They just, you know, I mean, I was in shock. That was the first time I'd ever seen anything like that, and there's no way in hell. I could not find anything in our history that could make that kind of a maneuver. I mean, what kind of ball of light comes straight down and then turns left and disappears?
Something
anyway,
that is identified and cannot possibly be explained, and I think it will one of these days. And I think there will be possibly flying in one of these things very soon. Let me get one last caller in. We've got 2 minutes left. I don't want to leave anybody out because you never know what and who you're going to listen to on Third Phase of Moon Radio. Thanks for waiting. Call in 385. You're live, Third Phase of Moon. 2 minutes left. Sorry, we're at the end of the show. Tell us your name. Where are you calling from, man? 385. You're live.
Hey, Blake.
Hey. We got 2 minutes left. Hey, we got you.
Hello?
952, yep.
Hey, Blake, how are you?
Doing pretty good. Just closing it out here. Big show tonight. I'm sure you heard it all. What do you think?
Yep.
A lot of sightings in Florida, right?
The ones in Florida are pretty great.
And
It's great that everyone else saw them.
I know, it's crazy. 305. Appreciate it. Frankie.
Yeah.
You keep your eyes on the skies. Thanks for joining us tonight.
I shall. Thank you so much, Blake. And if I have any more, I definitely will bring it to your attention.
You heard it right there. Frankie said it. If you're looking to share your UFOs to the world, get the word out. Be part of disclosure. Be part of the world. Third Phase Moon is here waiting. 2015, everybody, Happy New Year. Blake Cousins. Keep your eyes on the skies. We'll see you again next time.
Phase. Third. Phase. Third. Phase.
A few.